Hello, welcome back to another housing video for Final Fantasy XIV. Something that has been long overdue is actually finishing off a look at all of the housing items. We looked at some of them from Pilgrim's Traverse, but there are two that I missed. For whatever reason, I somehow forgot these existed. We've got the Traverse Tree, which is a new tree outdoors item. You can get these from sacks of platinum light from Accursed Hordes inside the Pilgrim's Traverse on stones 71 to floor 100. So that is what this looks like. They're quite common. I've got quite a few of these, as you can see. They are native to the environs of Pilgrim's Traverse. It says this: bulbous arboreal bloom casts an otherworldly glow. So let's have a look at these then. So as we can see, they are quite big trees. They are big bulbous trees. I think they are designed after a real life equivalent, or at least something similar to real life, although they are, purely in the fantastical when it comes to the colors. We've got this bright orange plume at the top, and then with some sort of like leaf around the bottom, and then some vines running up the side as well. Pretty cool stuff, actually. And if you wanted to recreate sort of like a pixie wonderland for your outdoor spaces, this would actually be a really nice addition. We've got some quite nice foliage added in Dawntrail with fantastical different colors, and I think this one is a nice addition. But yes, it is quite common, and for that reason on the market board this does sell quite cheaply if you haven't got one of these yet. But like I say, if you do want to get it, you need to get your Accursed Hordes and complete stones 71 to 100 to find this within platinum light sacks. Another item then that I forgot to look at previously is the Lyhe Ghiah stained crystal ornament. This is a wall-mounted fake window, essentially. It says, an iridescent, intricately detailed wall ornament modeled after the windows that adorn the twinkling edifice of Lyhe Ghiah. So this, again, is from your Pilgrim's Traverse, and this is from your Accursed Hordes, specifically from sacks of gilded light. This is much easier to obtain. You can get these from Accursed Hordes from stones floor 31 to 70, if you're wondering, and of course they are market tradable as well. They are quite nicely sized, though. I was quite surprised when I first saw these. I was like, oh wow, that is a lot bigger than I expected. I thought it was going to be a really small little ditty, stained glass wall, but really nice, actually. So if you're trying to make the aesthetic of a fairy wonderland, maybe you've got some water running inside your property, this would be the perfect accompaniment to that. But yeah, this item is absolutely beautiful. I love the greens and the reds there, and obviously depending on if it's day or night outside, you're going to get some god rays through this, like you do with some other fake partitions, fake windows that are in the game. It's quite nicely thick as well, which is helpful because it adds a little bit of depth and detail to whatever environment you're placing this on. And of course, with a few of the traditional glitches, we can also look at what this looks like on the other side, as well as float this. And just as a refresher, if you're not aware of how to do this, essentially if we place this on a partition itself, like a wall here, and then we toggle the surface placement on and off, we click on the item that's already placed there, and then we drag it off, and then we press escape or right click on the mouse and then move away the actual wall partition. It will remain placed where it is. This is a very old trick and something that, has been in the game for a very long time. But as you can see, it's quite interesting because obviously you have the front, but you also have the reverse. So if you wanted to make a partition specifically just of these particular tiles, right, of these windows, you totally could, because both sides have been lovingly replicated. I think they are 1-to-1. I don't think there are any major differences there, maybe with some of the colors, but oh yeah, there are some differences actually. So on the front, you've got those stone details at the bottom, right, sort of wispy designs made out of concrete and stone. And then on the rear, it is just a nice partition. I actually think I prefer the rear because it's got a lot less detail, but you've still got that light coming in. So maybe reversing these would be a really cool idea, mixing them up with some water features, indoor ponds, that kind of thing. This is the kind of aesthetic that I was talking about. Of course, this is just a rough guess of what we could put together, but we've got obviously benches creating a bridge here. We've got a pond. We've got indoor sort of flower rugs, and then we've got those wooden arches with those new stained glass windows. I really like these Lyhe Ghiah stained glass windows. They're really nice. I think the reason I like them the most is because of their height. Obviously, you know, framing them better, using different partitions to better hang these could look nice. And of course, mixing in with perhaps some, you know, other partitions like the, you know, the pink partitions, the flower partitions, that kind of thing. But it looks really good. Yeah, especially if you can figure out how to make rain appear to be hitting the back of them, that kind of thing. But that's the sort of aesthetic I would imagine people would go for, that kind of fairy and pixie thing. But I absolutely love the items added in patch 7.35 with Pilgrim's Traverse. Let me know what you think about these items. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of the stained glass windows than I am the Traverse trees, but they're fairly common to get, and you can pull off some really cool looks with very cheap investment into the market board, even if you don't want to do the Pilgrim's Traverse. Anyway, much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.